Good morning. Welcome to this edition of Frank and Candid on this Wednesday, hump day. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Hope you're enjoying your time at home with the family. Hope you're getting some work done. And hope you're bringing families closer together. Some say it's the opposite, but hey, we will know afterwards, right? In the news, just a programming note here quickly. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris will hold a press conference on Thursday, July 8th at 10 a.m. coming from the conference room at the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. The Prime Minister will update citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis on matters of national importance, including the country's ongoing fight against the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, that will be carried live right here on ZIZ Radio and television, along with some other stations joining in as well. Okay, no doubt that most of you are listening to the news and have heard the breaking news overnight that the Haitian president Jovenel Moïse was assassinated in an attack on his private residence. The country's interim prime minister, Joseph, said in a statement on Wednesday, and he called it a hateful, inhumane, and barbaric act. He also reported then that the First Lady, Martine Moïse, was hospitalized following the overnight attack. But since then, updated reports out of Haiti now says that she has succumbed to her injuries. So she is now passed. The nation of more than 11 million people had grown increasingly unstable and disgruntled under Moïse. The country's security situation is under the control as we speak of the National Police of Haiti and the Armed Forces of Haiti. And Joseph said in a statement from his office that democracy and the republic will win. Joseph condemned the assassination as hateful, inhumane, and barbaric, and he said some of the attackers spoke in Spanish but offered no further explanation. Haiti's economic, political, and social woes have deepened recently with gang violence spiking heavily in the capital of Port-au-Prince, inflation spiraling, and food and fuel becoming scarcer at times in a country where 60% of the population makes less than $2 a day. These troubles come as Haiti still tries to recover from the devastating 2010 earthquake, Hurricane Matthew that struck in 2016, and as well as under a pandemic as we speak. Haiti. What can I say about the people of Haiti and the troubles that they have been in for many, many years? Continues to be a poor country. Why is that? Why is it so poor? Depressing just to talk about that. The country pre-independence used to be a country that was doing well economically. Used to be the envy of the world at one time. This also, for some of you who may not know the history, this is the country that started the end of slavery. And that in itself is a powerful thing. Our brothers and sisters of Haiti are people with fantastic spirits and work ethics. Yes, Haiti today is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, but it has a culture and history that are undeniably rich. Racism and cultural identity has had an impact on Haiti's interaction with other countries. Haitians, though, are very proud of their heritage, as they should be. But when you have a country that is constantly derided and accused in some quarters by some of our own people, They're accused of making a pact with the devil. Some of us, even joined with others in demonizing their religion and culture. Of course, it would make it hard to get the aid and the investment that the country would need. You may be familiar with the title that Haiti used to hold, the Jewel of the Antilles. Haiti was on top in terms of economic boom. It stood as the wealthiest and most productive colony in the world over. The riches Haiti had, the riches that they had before independence made the nation, as I said, the envy of other countries. So how did a country that was once called the Jewel of the Antilles become the poorest in the Caribbean? There's history that gives us some of the answers. During the 1750s, Haiti at times contributed some 50% to the French gross national product, which shows how rich and economically stable Haiti was. So again, the question, why is Haiti so poor? There are numerous factors responsible for impoverishing Haiti. Let us try and see if we can examine some of those as we think about Haiti today in their turmoil, continued turmoil. Of course, there are the natural disasters. There's corruption. Those are two significant contributors. The region has experienced a series of natural disasters, as you would know. Some of it, say, attributed to deforestation and poor management of the country's resources. And so, Mother Nature had an impact. Haiti has been struck by Mother Nature over and over again. These natural disasters have caused severe damage to the country, economically and otherwise. The natural disasters is also attributed to, as I said, poor management of the nation's resources, deforestation, and pre- and post-independence. In 2010, Haiti was hit by a 7.0 magnitude earthquake that claimed over 300,000 lives and rendered thousands of people homeless and helpless. 2 years after, in 2012, the country experienced another hurricane. Then in 2016, Haiti experienced yet another hurricane, Hurricane Matthew, one of the strongest hurricanes the country has had in years before that. So Mother Nature has not been kind to Haiti. Let's talk about the other one, corruption. Corruption is like a deadly virus that has plagued quite a few nations. And for us, we're looking at quite a few black nations the world over. It is among the primary factors that crippled Haiti's economy and made the island more miserable economically. The elites were, and still today, they're like vipers, keeping the wealth of the nation to themselves. Many people are in developed countries, and many reputable bodies have said that they try to help the country in some form or other. But unfortunately, a lot of times the aid that is meant to alleviate the suffering of the people doesn't really get to the masses. So yes, one reason Haiti has remained a poor country is the massive corruption going on in the nation. Until this virus called corruption is wiped out, it will be difficult for the country to realize its true potential. So, there you have it. Mother Nature has not been kind, and there's been corruption coming from some of their leaders. People they put to lead end up being the ones that mislead. Don't help them out, but help themselves. So yes, put those aside now. And let's now go to another reason why Haiti is the way it is. And I call it the French connection. French rule had a significant hand in this. After the revolution, which gave Haiti its independence, the French and their European allies, they teamed up and they forced Haiti to pay indemnities to slave owners. Imagine that. These people were enslaved, but when they got their independence, the French encouraged their other allies in Europe to pressure Haiti into paying indemnities to the same slave owners. And the government of Haiti accepted that, right? No, you say, well, why would the government accept that? There's more to that. Let us examine, though, how ridiculous this would be to any reasonable person in some other place. We are here fighting for reparations from our enslavers, and rightly so. We deserve that. But here is the French, who enslaved the Haitian people for centuries. Those oppressed people then rose up against that enslavement. The oppressors lost. The oppressed won. They drove them out of their country and gained their independence, set up their government. Then the former enslavers declares that you, the oppressed, must pay me for my losses. Of course, the Haitians resisted that. But the French was able to bring pressure to bear on Haiti to make those payments to the former slave owners. The French threatened them that failure to pay means that the new Haiti will not be recognized by France. And not only that, the French then enlisted their friends in Europe to say, don't recognize these people. They enlisted the United States to join them. Do not recognize Haiti unless they pay their slave owners, former slave owners. So they had the clout, they had the pressure which they can bring onto Haiti. And so if Haiti did not make the payment, they would be in a lot of trouble. Nobody would recognize them. So the Haitian government wanted to gain recognition, so had no choice but to begin to pay. And these payments went on for years, which of course in a country like that would then affect the country economically. Consequently, Haiti focused more on clearing their debt to their slave owners, former slave owners. They focused on paying that debt, which lasted, as I said, for decades, instead of focusing on growing their own economy. So the next time you think of demonizing the Haitian people and their religion and culture, ask yourself whether or not the French, who enslaved them while professing to be Christians, were saints, or were they the true demons? It must be difficult for Haitians to compare their past and the present economic condition. It must hurt dealing with poverty. Life becomes unbearable, and the future might look oblique. But everything that has a beginning surely has an ending. So there's hope for Haitians. It is my belief that a country will one day reclaim its former glory and become the envy of other countries. There's hope for Haiti if the government and people just get things right. It will only take time and some drastic decisions. Haiti may yet realize its true potential. Again, we must not forget the French connections. Were the French the saints, or were they the demon? Haiti, we're sorry.
Come to Sun Pharmacy for all your prescription medication and healthcare supplies. 2 convenient locations: Keon Street next to the Chinese supermarket and in the food court at Port Zante. Sun Pharmacy, we care about your health. Telephone 466-1074 or 466-1077. Sun Pharmacy, your pharmacy. Sun Pharmacy accepts all bank cards and medical insurance plans from Nagico Insurance, Sagico Insurance, and National Caribbean Insurance.
Refresh and win $10,000 cash with Coca-Cola. Yes, you could be the lucky winner of $10,000 cash when you enjoy a 591 ml Coca-Cola Original Taste or 591 ml Sprite. Look under the special yellow cap to find your unique code. Promotion runs May 21st to August 13th. Terms and conditions apply. See press and in stores for details. Coca-Cola, open for better. Please follow all COVID-19 protocols when redeeming prizes.
The following is a COVID-19 update from the COVID-19 Task Force and the Ministry of Health. The most common COVID-19 symptoms we are noting in the Federation are nausea, diarrhea, abdominal pain, severe headache, vomiting, body aches. Fever appears to be a late onset symptom. Persons experiencing any of these symptoms are asked to call your primary care doctor, your district medical officer, or call 311 for advice. Please do not leave home, travel on public transportation, or go to public places. This message was brought to you from the COVID-19 Task Force and the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back to Frank and Candid. And this morning, in light of sad news coming out of Haiti, we are reviewing Haiti and its history. We will go to the phones for phone number 465-2555 and 718-577-2916. Let's go to the phones and hear from you. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Lyon.
Good morning.
I'm the time editor. You asked a question. Is the French for saints, angels, or is that a demon? They spoke about the church yesterday, and there are certain church ministers, apologists, and you would have heard them that Haiti had a pact with the devil. I did mention on your program, on the episode, that in the Bible, we base our theology on the Bible, that Jesus said, when he was accused of doing such great things for the poor. He was accused of using Beelzebub and the devil to do those things. And he admonished them to tell them, a kingdom divided against itself cannot succeed. No way it would have been so. Same thing applies to what Haiti applies. They apply on the energies of the laws, all things in nature, to get rid of the evil. This is a quote from Napoleon. And I quote, the prospect of a black republic is equally disturbing to the English, the Spanish, and the Americans. Jefferson had promised that at the instant the French army has arrived, all measures will be taken to starve Sudan, rid us of those Negroes. We'll have nothing else to wish for. My decision to destroy the authority in the Black Republic of Saint Domingue is not so much based on commerce and consideration of commerce and money as on the need to block forever the march of the blacks in the world. That's a quote from Napoleon. As a result of that, we heard about the Louisiana Purchase. Not just the state of Louisiana, the whole midsection of the United States, because of the loss of the greatest colony, Haiti. Today, we know that the rare earth, and we heard about in 2010 that all the Haitians cut down the mountain and all these, the rain fell and sediment and still reached down into the towns and villages. They were paid to clear the soil, as the brothers said earlier when he spoke about the French. They see the satellite, they know that Haiti was hit with an asteroid way back, Haiti and South Africa. And as a result, those rare earth material is needed for their aerial dynamics, their space exploration, those rare earth, as we know, these type of minerals. And so I say that even on our own domain here, we know of the reparation.
Okay, let's wrap, caller. We got a lot of callers coming.
Yes, I'm going to finish now.
Please.
If I ask that any French authorities here, if they are government-owned French institutions here, must pay, first of all, acknowledge the wrongs that were done to indigenous people and apologize to us, the Africans. There's nothing wrong with that. We are not afraid. We are not afraid to speak the truth. Thanks for listening.
All right. We got more callers here. Let's try and be concise here. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nair.
Hey, good morning.
Now, I just want to tell you something from yesterday. I was trying to get in.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, yesterday, during the time you're talking, there was a minister in Trinidad went in the bank with $28 million.
Ooh. Wow.
Wanted, listen to this,
Yeah, go ahead.
all money.
Oh, okay.
I wanted new $100 bills. So he's arrested right now in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm.
He was on the news up to this morning, One Caribbean or something like that. But it was on yesterday too.
Okay.
But it was on this morning. Now, let me go to Haiti. Now, we blame Haiti, and we want to blame Haiti for a lot of things. Right? We got to blame the people in the Caribbean here too. Because a petition liberate Haiti. But Haiti cannot come to CARICOM and them places. And don't think Haiti all that poor as we talking, Certain parts of Haiti are poor. But you pull in there on a cruise ship. You think you're in Spain or nothing else Spain.
Yeah.
You're one of them big countries with wealth and wealth and wealth and wealth.
I hear you.
But we here in the Caribbean, our leaders, up to now, they can't recognize Haiti to pull out the strand. Look what Santo Domingo did to Haiti the other day. Send back all the blacks. Anybody with black skin, they go back to Santo Domingo across the border. And we trying to get Santo Domingo to come into CARICOM and them kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Haiti is still left out. So we in the Caribbean as brothers and sisters to Haiti, we to blame too.
I hear you.
Thank you very much.
All right. I hear you. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen and Zinga. Blessed them, my beloved African brother. How are you and the family?
We're all doing well. How are you doing?
Good, man. The clan is good too. Great topic, beloved brother. Brother, you outline almost everything I was about to say. And that starts, with the French. And then they get their kiss and kins in Europe and here in North America to put the embargo on Haiti. Beloved, that's what the genesis of what brought down that great country, the great Republic of Haiti, beloved. And one thing you left out to, beloved, the invasion from the United States, beloved, left out that, beloved. And just recently, when Father Aristide, and I agree with him, they left the Catholic Church, man. But that's for another time. Sorry I didn't get in yesterday. But Friday I'll deal with that. Now, look at recent. Oh, what's your Father Aristide when he tell his friends, no, man, we're going to done with this nonsense. You owe us, we ain't owe you. Beloved, all of that, Katie. And let's not forget the white Haitians and the mulattoes. I don't like using that word, but let me just deal with it for now. In Haiti, them are the ones who in control of the economic power. They control the economic power in Haiti, beloved. These pop-up black faces, they're controlled by them. Controlled by them who they put up. Stooges. And let's not leave out this to brother. Francois Duvalier Sr. was born in Guadeloupe and Martinique. But he was standing up for his people, but he turned on his people just like Bradshaw, Eric Williams, Bird, Bramble, and all the others, and Barrow in Barbados. Stand on his own people. Beloved, we must still think, listen, hey, Haiti been gone through so many pains, beloved, for centuries. That's why Haiti it is. Haiti is what it is today. But the black faces and the people in Haiti too must take some responsibilities. At least maybe 35% what still goes on in Haiti today, beloved. Must take that, because you're in a country that the government, administration, and I prefer to say administration, is doing wrong to you, brother. With any administration is failed to protect, right, are unable to protect its people. The people have a right to liberate themselves, beloved. That's the law of nature. Any country, beloved, on this planet. So, beloved, you see, but things must change in Haiti and must change fast. I know with all the deforestation and everything in Haiti, but that come from because the people are economically poor. They had to cut down this for wood, use wood for fire to cook their foods and other things. But there must be an education, beloved. When you dig up one thing, you plant 50 or whatsoever.
Okay.
You see, brother, our people must get things right, man. But in closing, Caucasians and others must leave us to hell alone and let us do what is right for us. And we must ensure that happens in every country and any continent that we do on things. Beloved brother, thanks again for hearing me. Pan-Africanism our perish. One love, my beloved brother.
All right, back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nair.
Good morning.
And good morning to the listeners and home and abroad. Charles Brown here. Mr. Nair, yes, we are sorry for what happened in Haiti, but Mr. Nair, that will not always continue to happen. There is no end to that. Just like the Israel and Palestinians, there is no end to them because they see not to join together, or they're not seems to settle the differences. So those things don't always happen between those countries. What we need to look at, Mr. Nair, is what is happening here at home. Now, Mr. Nair, am I to believe what I'm seeing entered my phone yesterday early, that the Prime Minister having press conference tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
That's the report.
No, Mr. Nair, you see why I just be saying something is wrong with our leaders? No, Mr. Nair, we home for 2 weeks. We locked in like prisoners in our cages, can't come out. I must say good morning to my fellow inmates. I am not too sure if we are going to get out tomorrow because we do not know what may come in this press conference. No, we are home for 2 weeks. Now, the Prime Minister and all those who with him, advising him, had all the time to get our attention in that 2 weeks. Now, he chose to come tomorrow when all of us out of our cages go to get some fresh air, to say he having press conference. So whose attention he's going to get? Most and nearly all of us are going to be out replenishing what we have dissolved and demolished in the time that we was home, and have to go and stand up in the long lines again. And with no social distancing, people could say what they want, but they know it's happening. Now, we out there, the Prime Minister can be on 10 o'clock having press conference when we are in the bank lines, we are in pharmacies everywhere, supermarkets everywhere, replenishing what we have devoured. And he having press conference. Now, don't you think it was better that the Prime Minister have that press conference today, or Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday, when he have everybody attention? He had the whole of this week, where he have all of us attention. But he chose to have it tomorrow, when most and all of us would be out. No,
all right, we got you.
The last thing.
Yes, quickly.
I am warning all the private companies, including government and everybody else. It seems we want to get a Haiti because we know running our own people who have kept us for all these years. We are now telling our people, because we are vaccinated, don't come to work. I am warning all your mind, please all you stop this. Work out something like the England Prime Minister, vaccinated and unvaccinated people go to work, mind. And hear what they're doing.
All right, we gotta go.
And hear what I'm going to do now.
I really don't know where you're going with this, so let's take the next caller. Good morning, welcome to Franklin Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nair.
Good morning.
You see, I listened this morning, we wake up with this sad news of what happened in Haiti. Are we taking stock of what's happening around the Caribbean? Are we taking stock of our own backyard, Mr. Nair? Are we? We are in lockdown. We are mentally drained, we're emotionally drained. We have a state of emergency. And based on what is going on, what the Prime Minister said to the private sector, this is the way we have to go. Everybody has to be vaccinated. Well, Mr. Nair, are we any different to what's going on in Haiti? I am blaming no France and no French and this and that. I'm talking in St. Kitts. Is the French running St. Kitts? Is the English running St. Kitts? Is the German running St. Kitts? We were run by Timothy Harris as the leader. And when our leader is going to sit down and look at the way people have been treated in this country, what is big issue is vax and unvax. We didn't have a big issue when he went in Parliament and said, the guys are moving the gang and get $31 million. And nothing wrong with that, Mr. Nair. But we didn't see the big uproar in this country. But we have a massive uproar, all because people decide they have questions about taking a vaccine. But we're talking about Haiti. Is there any difference to what's happening in Haiti in St. Kitts? You tell me. People in Haiti feel they was oppressed. They do what they got to do. That's how it is. If you oppress people, Mr. Nair, so you constantly oppress people, you're constantly irritating people, what do you expect people to do, Mr. Nair? First, we are under pressure. We got with children to feed. We got house to pay. We got this to pay. We got that to pay. But every month, these guys collecting the money. Every month, from last year to now, each one of them collect their full salary. But nobody's studying that people are going to be home without a job. People are scared because they ain't sure what happening. But yet we're boasting everybody taking the vaccine. Mr. Nice, if you put a gun to a woman's head and you said to her, your wife or your life, and she give you your wife, you enforce her. Because she wants to live. So we must be honest to ourselves. I could recall Mr. Nice some years ago. You could remember too. When Marriott was going to run home some of them workers, hundreds of them, Douglas said, no, you can't do that. I'm going to pay the workers till when the company takes itself. You remember that? You almost killed Mr. Douglas for that. He taking the taxpayers' money and paying for people at the hotel. Well, come on. But why Timothy can't take up the money and pay for these companies so we could continue working? Why? Tell me why, Mr. Nass. But yet this morning we focusing on Haiti because they kill the man. There's a reason why they kill the man. There's a reason the people are made crazy. When people do things, they're not crazy, Mr. Nass. I mean, we got to be careful how we're dealing with our citizens. Calvin just tell you so. 2 years ago, my ID was revoked from the airport with immediate effect. And we're talking about Haiti.
Let's wrap up there.
I'm just saying, Mr. Nayas, we need to come better than this. We have a leader who's running this country, and he must run it as a leader. Take the bull by the hand. Don't got people doing you citizens like this. Because years to come, you're going to come to the same citizens to tell them to vote for you. Because remember, it's PAM, Labour, and Unity working for these companies too. It's everybody. So it's not just a Labour thing. So when we wake up and understand, we focus on Haiti, we focus need to be on this lovely country where it's running away from us. Because I'm not talking about the elite, you know, and the press, where they're right here at the moment, and they're running the economic, the money, people running the country. So people, let us wake up together and unite as a people, yeah?
All right.
Have a good morning.
Okay. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nice.
Good morning, sir.
Poor Haiti just can't seem to catch a break. I mean, it's been one tragedy after another. And I hear you with your explanations of natural and man-made disasters and the French connection. But at some point, the Haitians have to take ownership of their predicament and realize that their sorry state is a result of them first accepting and then electing bad leadership. They tolerated the dictatorship of Papa Doc, and then they went and elected a string of leaders who were essentially Papa Docs in suits and ties and corrupt, educated elites. So it's a governance problem now. All of our countries in the Caribbean went through the horrors of slavery and colonialism. We've all had to try to claw our way out of those legacies, those experiences, and we all have had limited success. Okay, some did it better than others. We have chosen different paths, but generally, the rest of the Caribbean, I think, have reached a place where at least we take ownership for our destiny going forward. Okay? Haiti has to get to that point. Its people have to come to the realization that it's on them. It may take another revolution, but in the final analysis, Haiti's future depends on the Haitian people, and it should be left to the Haitian people. All the assistance they get seem not to make a difference, so they should come up with some kind of homegrown solution. And that homegrown solution does not mean that they should isolate from the rest of the world and fend for themselves.
So does that mean they should go to assassination?
No,
oh, okay.
But that is a result, all that is a result of what I've been talking about, the bad governance. If people come to the point where they feel that is the only way that can change leadership and change government, it's unfortunate. But we know throughout history, people resort to those desperate measures. It's been there throughout history, and unfortunately sometimes it does bring change, Sometimes change for the worse and sometimes change for the better. It's not the preferred way because it's usually costly in terms of blood and treasure, but it should not get to that point. I hope we never, at least the rest of the Caribbean, don't get to the point where that is how they change things. But I'm going to suggest a controversial path for them. And yes, it's controversial, but maybe they need to settle for the new kind of colonialism. And I speak of the Chinese.
Okay.
Right? Because the U.S. is not going to develop them, you know. They're right on the U.S. border, and the U.S. practically ignores them. Bring in the Chinese, they would be really glad to establish a foothold in these parts, and let them, the Chinese, have them develop their country. Play some geopolitics. That might make the states wake up and take notice.
Let's try out the baby with the bad water too, right?
How? In what way?
Because in some ways we're talking about the Chinese influence in the region. So
yeah, that's why I say it's controversial.
Okay.
We wouldn't do it. But,
Okay.
but look, that would be better than what they have now.
Okay.
You know, that's the thing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
How are you? Good morning.
Good. I'm good. What's up?
I do not know. Listen to the one before this one. I do not know if he knows. I think he still works at TDC. That they circulate a letter, an alleged letter coming from TDC. I spoke to an individual where they have up until August to decide if they're going to take the vaccine, because the impression I'm getting is that TDC want all its workers to be vaccinated. Whether they are experiencing a problem since the COVID, you know, you're shut down, you open up, you shut down, you open up. I really don't know, but I just want to know, have you seen or heard about this letter that is circulating from TDC?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh, no? Okay, well,
No.
eventually you would get it.
Okay.
You know, another thing, and I'm just wondering, what are those two callers suggesting? Cal and this other one, that because of what is happening because Haiti had a history. It's like everybody who ruled Haiti, I think they've had a lot of overture of government in Haiti. From the time Papa Doc overture, the one who was there before. Apparently he was ill-treating the people. So I hope they're not suggesting that what happened in Haiti should happen here. I hope I'm not.
No, let's hope not.
I'm not understanding that. You understand what I mean? I hope I'm not understanding that. Okay,
I don't think so. Let's hope not. I don't think they're doing that. Let's go back to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Yes,
Morning.
good morning, Mr. Nias.
Yes.
I call in because I pick up something that I think you did not pick up. I listened to Curtis and McMahon, and in my opinion, they were inciting violence to our country because of what took place in Haiti. They are trying to say in smart words that is the way to go here. And you need to pay attention to these people and where they are going with the smart talk, and make sure you put them in line.
Yeah, well, I specifically asked if it was assassination you're talking about. So.
Well, listen, you pick it up, but you still allow them to say what they got to say, because remember, they come in with diplomacy and they will not say, do this directly, right? You all got to be careful with these guys. They preach violence in a very technical way. You understand? I know Mr. Curtis will call back in with a kind of a fire, because he feel like his voice is the biggest voice in this country, and whatever he say is Godspell. And with Curtis them, they feel like only one party supposed to rule this country and nobody else supposed to get a turn. And if it turn Labour rule in this country, destroy it by any means necessary. That is the philosophy of them. Check Denzel Douglas. He agrees to nothing that take place in this country that done under this government. They find ways and means of criticizing it. Nothing wrong with the vaccine, but you're supposed to make a choice to take it if you wish to take it. You're not supposed to be forced. Now, to my knowledge, almost 4 million people died from the COVID-19. So far, I cannot recall any die from taking vaccine. The vaccine are preached all over the world. It's not Timothy Harris vaccine. Take the vaccine so that we can go back to normalcy. The vaccine saving life. The NOC, they have authorities, they preach it over and over, and these people still find ways to counter them by saying negative things so that they could put doubt and establish doubt in people's mind so they should not take it. It is wrong. If Dr. Douglas were leading this country, what the NOC is saying is what they would have been saying. And they would have want everybody to go out and take it. I could tell you this. I would have gone out there if Douglas was in power. You know why? It is for my benefit. I ain't gonna let political puppy shows stop me from going to take something to save my life.
Okay.
Like I said before, 4 million people done dead, none dead from the vaccine. And anybody who died, they ain't die from the vaccine, they die from underlying issues, other issues. Why are these people out there preaching violence smartly to encourage people to go and use other ways and means of getting rid of the government?
Okay.
Listen to them carefully.
Got you.
That's what I want you to do.
Okay. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning.
Hey,
I've
good
been
morning.
holding on so long and almost forget what I want to say. But 3 callers. The caller before these last 3, he was saying something about when you oppress people, how they behave. So I want to know, because he likes to talk about 1967. I want to know if 1967, if the Anguilla and them being oppressed, why they come think it and behave like that, because he allowed to go back to 1967. So you see, what he do now is he putting him out. And with the vaccine, whether we like it yes or not, eventually maybe the whole world gonna have to do this. Because you know why? When the World Trade Center blow up, see what you happen now? You can't go on the plane now with a bottle of water. They have to tap you and you can't go with a perfume. So right now, when America send it down and say the whole world have to do this, you can't travel unless you're fully vaccinated, everybody gonna be. But because it's Timothy Harris begging them not to pin a gun to the head, begging them to test the vaccine because it saves lives. And it's what the whole world saying. Maybe he ain't got the money to do like America or raffling $100,000 to somebody if they take the vaccination, but it's for their own good. People getting vaccination since we small, all in school we getting vaccinated, so what? Coaches need to watch what he does be saying, because he does have something that he can't even understand. So he come back and let me know if 1967, that is why the people them come from Anguilla and get on like, and then he want to blame Ham. So Mr. Naya, see you. Bye.
Okay. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
I'm on.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead. Yes, you're
I don't even
live.
know what to say. How vexed. Them, what happened to them people? What happened to Timothy Harris do them? And sent like Haiti. Wait, thank you come like Haiti. All of us said, Carl must better be careful. He
walking around people who are sick and he don't know what he gonna get. Every day he come in with one thing. What the Prime Minister do him? He named Prime Minister. See you.
Okay. Back to the phone. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nice. I'm glad I get in.
Yes.
Yeah, when this country in a similar situation like Haiti, you know, which is Cuba, you know. America tried to enforce the same strategy on Cuba, you know. Remember, it's out of every dollar is 98 cents, so it's going to America. When Castro stopped it, it caused big confusion, you know. But some who were along the lines, Cuba had a great leader. But up to today, still presently, America still got hands on portion of Cuba, Guantanamo Bay. But I say President thanks to Anto Henry Christoph. The second caller, he got away about him in cussing Bradshaw, or in defend Bradshaw. The biggest and first housing revolution and saying it came under Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw. Free secondary education came under Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw. The acquisition of our sugar lands came under Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw. The same set of people who want to say own Cuba is America, and that is where he lives, between the white man who want to suppress the black man. But Anabo, you're a creator, you're a criminal. Good boy.
All right, back to the phone. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Naz. Some real strong points there by that caller, okay, in pointing out about Cuba, the state of Cuba, and about Bradshaw. But I would like to know exactly where, well, speaking for myself, what could be construed as incitement. People have to realize, okay, that generally speaking, the oppressor always want to tell the oppressed how to respond. It's always over the top. They're not going to talk about oppression. They're going to talk about the response to oppression. And I don't care whether it's Palestinians or whether it was the liberation struggle in Africa or it was the civil rights struggle in the United States. Any people, any group of people who are willing to stand up and make sacrifices for the future of themselves and their families, you cannot call them anything but brave and patriotic people. Okay? Nothing I said talked about incitement. We're talking about hate, about certainly incitement here at home. Right? I wasn't talking about here at home. We were talking about Haiti. And what I said was it might take another revolution to change things, to shake up things in Haiti. Unfortunately, that is how, if you look throughout history, in so many countries, that is what it takes to bring about change. So this thing about incitement, I think they're just getting hysterical. Okay then.
All right. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Yes, greetings, my brother.
Yes.
This is Rascal Lunch.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm keep saying all the time? The enemy got us attacking one another. Look in this pandemic here. They're not dealing with the people who create the virus. Dr. Fauci and the United States government is responsible for the virus. The United States government is responsible for what is happening in Haiti. You don't understand. We have a common enemy. Malcolm X said, we have a common oppressor, a common exploiter, and a common discriminator. People don't understand geopolitics. The United States invaded Haiti in 1915. You understand? Installed Papa Doc and his son. And then when they had genuine elections, right? President Aristide won the election, they overthrow him, kidnap him and take him to Africa. The same forces we're fighting against. Instead of turning on each other, focus on the enemy. The United States government is our enemy. Them is the one who creating all the confusion. Don't, because the divide and rule politics that we're dealing with here, that's exactly what they want to happen to us. We got to identify our enemy. Black people in the Western Hemisphere, the 200 million of us plus. You understand? We have a common enemy. Stop fighting amongst ourselves, man. All the information what comes out and the vaccine. You hear about nanoparticles. We people ain't know what nanoparticles is. Nanoparticles is what they got in the vaccine so that you go to your cells much quicker. To neutralize your immune system. People got to understand what is happening. Dr. Fauci is the one who funded the gain of function research. Send the money to Wuhan, China to develop this vaccine. I mean the coronavirus, I'm sorry. We people got to focus on who the enemy is. We are not each other's enemy. Black people, wake up. All what is happening to us happening all where African people be. United States government was propping up the same president who got assassinated. They have him in office over 2 years now. And he has not called elections. I'm saying to our people, focus on who the real enemy is. What Granny said, plant weed, buy local, support your own. What Granny said, develop your own vaccine. We got to take our destiny in our own hands to liberate ourselves. What Granny said, reparations by any means.
All right. Let's go to the final call, I believe. Good morning, welcome.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, a number was saying to me this are refusing to take the AstraZeneca vaccine that the government has bought. They're saying it's a needles. And they're saying that they're waiting on the Cuban vaccine. I want these people to pay close attention that when the Cuban vaccine gets in vogue in Cuba, how many Cubans will be able to select them that they're not taking it? Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. We could get 30 seconds in here. Go ahead, caller. You're live. 30 seconds. Go.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're live. Quickly.
Good morning, Mr. Nayas.
Good
This
morning.
is Dumpling.
Yes, Dumpling.
Mr. Nayas, I can understand Curtis and them. They're using the Prime Minister. When Timothy was with Labour, they did love Timothy. Now Timothy is so bad because the sickness come round now and telling them must take the vaccine. They want to say, kind of thing about the man. Like the man had a lad here. The man ain't make no vaccine. I don't know why they're going on and using them though the Chetman word. I don't know how you can pick him up. I hear listening and I pick him up. I picked him up yesterday again on Johnny Labour show. Chetman word. They must cut it. And then we talking about people with work and all kind of thing. Look, Labour they tell me way. Labour tell me when I was 38 years, we took smart children in school. When Douglas to worse than Timothy. Lot.
All right. We got to go.
This is Dumpling.
Thank you, Dumpling. And that's going to do it for us today. Thank you all for your calls, suggestions, comments. We look for peaceful resolution to all our matters in this country. And we will continue to look that way. We'll talk again tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here tomorrow. It depends on how that press conference that's at 10 o'clock tomorrow. But then we'll be back here on Friday, hopefully. We'll talk then. I'm Tony Nias. Have a good day.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
Tune in for Policing with You, a half-hour radio program every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join host Inspector James Francis of the Criminal Investigations Department as he focuses on crime, factors contributing to criminal activity, crime prevention, and how the community can assist the police in reducing crime. It's Policing with You every Thursday morning